Welcome, everyone, for our second of 3 podcasts today with our special guest, who I'm going to have Liz introduce him in a few minutes. But first, I want to say hi to my co-host, Marcia. Marcia, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's the end of November. Can you believe it? Wow. But yeah, I'm here in Northeast Florida. It's a little cooler, and I'm ready to chat live.
There you go. And Liz, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's actually, I'm seeing blue sky and sunniness for the first time in a couple of days. So that's really,
Are you going out
yeah.
and partying?
No, I'm not going out and partying. I'm getting ready for the next podcast after this one. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, well, I understand that. I have to do the same thing. But Liz, go ahead and introduce our fabulous guest for today.
Yes, I absolutely can't wait to introduce this guest because one, not only is he an actor, which has been in probably some of your favorite verticals, including one that after his affair I slept with his best friend. These titles are unreal to me, but he is also part of the passion that I have is an amazing writer, and I cannot wait to introduce you and get into this with Mr. Marc Cotter. How are you today?
I'm doing so well, and actually, it's been raining in Los Angeles pretty heavily, as some of you may know. But since I got on the phone with you, the sun has just come out, so that is a good omen. Thank you.
Oh no, this is an absolute pleasure to have you. You have been doing a lot of things, and I will get into a lot of your acting, but I kind of wanted to touch a little bit on your writing. You've been doing this pretty hardcore for about 15 years now.
Yes.
What interested you to get into writing and the storytelling of the art besides the acting?
So ironically, it did always start from acting, but there was a frustration in my early teens because for anyone that knows that's gone through the audition process, you hit this awkward age and you can't get an agent, and there were all these prerequisites that were needed in order to be submitted. And I grew frustrated, and my earliest mentor, Joe Bolella, who is my writing partner on everything, we've become this writing team since officially 2015, but he had said to me a long time ago, why don't you create a vehicle for yourself? And he was the first person to really encourage me to do that. And that sort of led onto this snowball roller coaster where one script led to, oh, hey, you write? Let me read that. And then it always would evolve into, well, we're not necessarily looking for this, but what about this? And then before long, we had, 10 scripts, and 10 scripts turned to 20 scripts, 20 to 30, and so on. And we sort of have built a company around developing and packaging screenplays. And through, Joe is most notably known for producing Richie Rich with Macaulay Culkin. Right. And he's had a long history in management. So his network is pretty vast, and he is really a great person and sounding board, one of the best editors I've ever had the pleasure in working with. And I think as a writer, Liz, you and Marcia and Michael, I don't know if you write as well, but as you know, having the writing's in the editing, and you can put ideas to paper, but that doesn't really come to life until you edit it down and shape it. Right. And that's really the most important part. And I do believe everybody has the potential to be a great writer. It's just the patience and discipline to push through. So yeah, to answer your question, it all stemmed from acting and wanting to be in film. And writing sort of became that outlet where you had a little more control. And I think writing has actually helped my acting in many ways, and respect the other departments that are needed to put a production together.
That makes a lot of sense the way you explained that, and I can see where the correlation would definitely be. Going back a little earlier before, because you did mention that you had worked, with the creator Richie Rich and different things, but you were the executive producer of that. The one job you had even before that blows my mind that anybody would allow a 16-year-old to take new models that were coming in. There were foreign models coming in and show them and get them to their assignments all over New York. How did you land that?
So that was Joe. So that was a Joe move right there. It's pretty funny. So one of his dear friends for a very long time was Marion Smith, who ran Ford Models and then subsequently New York Models, the women's division. And I had been interning at Joe's music production company in Manhattan on 23rd and Park, which it was a jingle house for films. And they've done a lot of huge films. They've done music for Alvin and the Chipmunks, the Pitch Perfect, over 200, maybe actually now it's probably 400 plus. But at that time, it was a very interesting network of people that were coming out of the music house. And I had said that I wanted to do more. And I think at the time, Joe was kind of just trying to figure out what to do with me. I was this guy, this 15-year-old whose parents would let me come into the city. God bless my parents, because most people wouldn't come from West Hampton Beach to New York City, four times a week. I would leave school at 2:16 p.m. The bell rang and drive to Ronkonkoma and take the train into the city just to spend a few hours or go to a dinner meeting, or Joe would bring me on set of a music video because they were cultivating artists at the time. And so getting back to Marion, we had met Marion through Joe at dinner one night, and she was asking me, like, Joe, what are you doing with this guy? Like, what, and he's like, well, see if you need help. And she said, well, actually, we have these models coming in from out of town, and every so often during the casting seasons, it's so hectic, and she needed an assistant for that period. And next thing I know, I didn't know anything about the New York City subway system at this time. I'm a Long Island. I wasn't born in the city. So this was my crash course at 16. And, kind of the little incentive in high school, everybody's like, he's always in the city. And then I got to, post on Snapchat me with beautiful women that were, but the experience wasn't as glamorous as it looked, because I had no idea how to use the subway. I ended up spending all the money that I made on taxis, because I couldn't comprehend this. I'm texting Joe, like, how do I get from, Times Square to Lower East Side and then cut back to Hudson? And it was just really crazy. And, but it taught me a lot. And also some of the models didn't speak English. So I'm using Google Translate, trying to, what do you want for coffee? And when they're at Milk Studios, I'd be around the corner at Dunkin' Donuts getting, frappuccinos and all sorts of stuff. So it ended up costing me more, but within that process, I think I learned a lot about New York City and about what it takes to hustle. And I think that first impression that I had made on Marion ended up cultivating into more relationships that led to where I am today. So
you just said, you hit it right there perfectly. You might have lost more financially, but you gained so much more wealth knowledge-wise and grounding you, and then being able to expand on that, going forward, with your work ethic and everything. So, I think you learned and gained so much more doing that than you ever would have with just financial gain. So I think that was really cool.
It's almost applicable to anything. Like you have to kind of be willing to sacrifice and compromise to prove yourself. Like, especially when you're starting out or you're trying a new venture, you have to invest into it. That sweat equity. And I think that was something I learned from that moment, and that actually translates into my writing. Because originally, before we were getting paid to write scripts, you were just writing, 8 or 9 scripts, for free, just to have a track record, to have something to show people so that they believe that you are capable in doing what they hope you can do.
And that then going forward, now that you have done, and you did some off-Broadway stuff too, early on in your career, but what, besides being a writer and you kind of veering your own lane for that and getting out of the off-Broadway stuff, what made you decide to make that transition to LA and then on into verticals?
So, I've always had a deep love for theater. I studied at Stella Adler's Conservatory. I did all the local theater out on Long Island, which was a pretty prestigious group, because a lot of actors that went from the city to Long Island to retreat from the chaos of the urban lifestyle, they really workshopped and trained out there. So I got to learn from a lot of seasoned vets. I think the thing for me was theater is like a gym, and it can be sometimes monotonous, especially if you're not always in love with the material that you're doing. And at that point, I was taking whatever I could get, and it was interesting. But I always had a love for film, and I knew in my heart I needed to pursue that somehow, and that's why I went to work with Joe basically as his executive assistant. Even though it kind of like parlayed into a little brief stint with the modeling agency, a brief stint with Live Nation, and then we decided, because we had cultivated this body of work with scripts, and a lot of Joe's relationships were out of Los Angeles, and he was ready to make that move too. And we both were like, you know what, let's do this. So that was circa 2015, and then I officially, for a while, I was going back and forth from 2015 to 2018. And then officially in 2018, I moved to California because there was enough of a sort of foundation that was poured just from the original visits, where we were meeting enough people and there was a demand to be there. Because I think anybody that has moved from, and Marcia, maybe you can relate to this because you said you're from New York as well. When you move to a different coast, you have to sort of rebuild. It's like freshman year all over again, right? It's like you have to reestablish yourself, you have to rebuild a network of friends and people that you trust, and that takes time. So I was fortunate to do so in doses at that original period, and now it's like my home out here. And I still always will be a New Yorker at heart. Don't get it twisted.
Awesome.
And I think it gives us an edge. What do you say, Marcia?
I think what?
Being a New Yorker gives you an edge.
I think it absolutely does. I mean, it's a brotherhood or a family outside of, when you say you're a New Yorker, instantly like you can drink water from the faucet. You can
oh, they're crazy. Yeah.
and people look at you and they go, huh? Yeah, but the water is so good. But and yes, there's certain things that are just understood, and it's fun. It's fun. And since I'm going to use that as a segue to yes, I was actually born in Harlem and raised in Queens, which is on Long Island, which a lot of people don't realize.
Yes, it is. It is.
So did you when did you eventually become an expert subway rider? Because I know you probably did.
Probably like a week after. I think that was so traumatizing that I spent that subsequent week just learning every line. And yeah, so as long as you understand where the shuttles are and how to, it's like a big H almost. And if you know how to get across at the right vantage points, you can kind of maneuver accordingly. And there's, so it's pretty, it's good to know. And some of my fondest memories, honestly, looking back at coming up, and God, there's an energy that New York has that I miss. Really? I do, because now I'm living like the nature beach lifestyle out here, and which is great. Don't get me wrong, but I do miss that sort of just being able to walk anywhere.
I was just gonna say that, walking.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Go to Central Park, go walk to the Lower West Side, Upper East Side. Yeah, I used to get my haircut up on 82nd and 3rd, and I used to always walk up the West Side Highway. Actually, part of the writing process is long walks. Going up, taking like a 6-mile walk, just getting the blood flowing, and you get inspired. Yeah.
You mentioned now when you write, what do you use? Obviously, you use probably a computer program. Do you use
Draft, particularly for the script writing? But that's a good question, because sometimes it's really helpful to handwrite things. And I love chalkboards in my apartment around literally like 3 different chalkboards mapping out 3 different projects at a time. So we're just always kind of revisiting that. And Joe and I like to spar. Our process typically starts with like discussing the idea and like sketching potential trajectories, and then sort of like having a Socratic seminar where we like test it and try to poke holes in each other's concepts. And then the surviving layers end up getting built into a beat sheet, which then subsequently evolves into the first 10 pages, the next, and then you go in waves. And we have this assembly line process where we kind of hand off the load. I charge, hand to him, recharge, he charges, hands off to me, so to speak. So we have a really efficient system, which has allowed us to multitask and kind of stay up to date. But yeah, that's the tricky part, is keeping organized. Yeah, I'm sure everybody's got a unique process, which is so great about writing, because there is no right or wrong answer, right? It's like, yeah.
Or they say just write.
just do it. Nike.
Just do it. Speaking of Nike and sports, there is a project that I know that is kind of in flux, but it immediately drew my attention, is Big Men. And I hope that it's okay to talk about that a little bit, because it involves some sports people that are deep in my heart. Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell.
Is he frozen?
He's frozen. He's frozen.
Oh, that's no good.
No.
Okay. Well, everyone, we're sorry about that, but hopefully he will get back in a few minutes. But I think I'm going.
I thought he was just entranced by my talk.
Well, so did I. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there he's gone now.
Maybe he'll pop back in here in a second.
He'll pop back in a second. But everyone, we all hope you're doing well. I will get, as soon as Marsha's done, I will get to one or two questions in the chat room. We got a kind of a busy chat room, so if I don't get to every question, we're sorry about that, but we're doing our best. But now hopefully he will get back very soon.
Yeah, I don't know if he really wants to talk with everybody. So
yeah.
Oh, I know.
So just so people know, now my computer's running slow. Oh, lovely.
No.
But just so people know, tonight, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, we have Logan Tomanek on tonight to talk about his career and his new movie that just came out, which is right up Liz's alley, Christmas in Midnight Clear.
Yep.
So going to be excited to talk to him about that. Okay, I'm going to switch the screen so we're all like this now.
Yeah.
Until he comes back. But
hopefully he'll be back in soon.
Yeah, that is what I am hoping.
He said it was raining there, I think. So.
Ooh, I wonder if he lost power, maybe.
Well, he was saying the sun had come out right about the time
That's
that
right.
we
He
went
did
on.
He did say that, yeah.
So, but, there he is. Yay, he's back.
Yay!
Sorry about that.
No, we were just trying to figure out. Oh, now I'm up there. Ooh.
There was, my bad. There was an outage. Just.
I told you. That's what I said.
You were right, Michael. You were right.
Oh no. Anyway, sorry about that. We gotta love building suspense. See, that's all part of the writer's plan.
That's right.
Right as you give them a piece of information, you go the other way.
Yeah, we thought you were just in deep trance that thought about what Marsha was saying to you, and then all of a sudden went, wait a minute.
I stopped. It was like I thought you were doing a freeze frame or something for a second, but hey, we're back now. Sorry about that.
We're back now, so go ahead, Marsha.
Yeah, well, I was hoping that I know there is a project that has been in development for a while that is, we were talking about sports kind of, and the project is titled Big Men, yes, which involves one of the greatest legends in basketball, Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell, and I particularly. I'm a sports person, sports fan. So where did that idea come from to focus on these two giants?
So it was one of those stories that sort of found us. I mean, we weren't particularly looking for it. I've always been a fan of basketball, and I've always been a crooner, the 1950s, 60s, just the music and everything. I've always been attracted to that culture as an aesthetic and just the world. And we were developing a period drama about 17th century Lower Manhattan merchant families. And that was sort of, this will all make sense in a second. But when we had moved to Los Angeles circa 2018, we had been working with a composer, Jonathan Elias, who's most known for writing, We Are Farmers, Liberty, 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 Yahoo! Like one of he's unbelievable. And we were talking to him about the score for that 17th century period drama because his mentor was John Barry, who did the 007 theme song and Out of Africa and all those beautiful compositions. And we obviously valued his opinion and wanted his take on it. And he's also pretty tapped in with producers and whatnot. And he had said to us, like I had the rights to a book on Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game. And at this point, I didn't really know much about Wilt or Bill. I knew about certain histories like the Muhammad Ali Vietnam protests and certain things like that were really amazing, that I didn't realize the proximity that these two individuals had. And then, so he gave us that book, and he had also said that 90% of the entertainment industry loves basketball, and if most of the executives who are Jewish, they love basketball because that it's very prominent. And so we ended up reading. I think we read his book. We bought King of the Court, Go Up for Glory, Wilt's autobiography, the Bill autobiography. It led to 46 books, and we have a collection of Time magazines from the era and everything, and we did immersive sort of research. And Joe and I really fell in love with the relationship between Red Auerbach, Wilt, and Bill as mentors. It really is a story of mentoring and fostering the next generation. And for those who don't know, Red Auerbach really was instrumental in integrating the sport of basketball during a very troubling period in one of the toughest cities to do so at that time, for anybody that knows about Boston's history in that era. And it's not really, the beautiful thing is it's not a political story. It's more about individuals and overcoming adversity, identity, friendship, and how sometimes relationships can be tested by forces that are bigger than all of us. And what really makes these quote unquote big men, I mean, yes, they are 7 feet tall, but beyond that, they had the heart of champions. And it's a beautiful story. And we had really, when we started developing it, we had been working with Norm Nixon, former Lakers player, Stormin' Norman, who has been just an unbelievable ally and friend. And even his wife, Miss Allen, who's been also a mentor, she has been so supportive. And we had a gentleman by the name of Scott Kundell, who is a pretty prominent producer, a very prominent producer with Judge Judy. He basically does all of Judge Judy's projects, and he had taken a liking to it and went to bat for us, and it was really wonderful. He got the blessing from the families, and we've been cultivating this beautiful series that now is in an interesting place, and I can't really get into too much more detail, but you will hear more about that soon. But I think it's a story that really resonates with America. It is the story of America. Winning Time was a fun show. I really loved that, but that was more about the coastal teams. This is about everything, and it's bigger than just the sport of basketball. Basketball is kind of the B story to this, and you really get to see a vast spectrum of culture between Wilt and Bill, who are polar opposites in many ways, but both equally great in their own way, and their contributions to that period and influence overall. I mean, when Nixon and Kennedy were having their presidential debate, the first game between Wilt and Bill had more of an audience than that.
And that.
Which is unbelievable. Like, and that's just like one little golden nugget. I mean, before Logan Paul and Jake Paul were fighting Floyd Mayweather, Wilt Chamberlain almost fought Muhammad Ali. Nobody really knows about that. And Wilt's father's like, you're not doing that. And probably for good reason. So, yeah.
I hope that once this gels more, that maybe you'll come back and talk about that whole project more.
Exactly.
Well, maybe we can get some of the other people involved on that call, because it's really amazing. I've gotten to meet some incredible legends because of the development of this project, and it's a hard one because it's a period drama, and for anyone that's known anything or getting any period piece off the ground, they're expensive and they really require the right team, and they gotta, and that takes time, getting the right players in order. So I will definitely be keeping you posted on that. And I'm really happy to ask about it.
And when you're dealing with real people's lives, there's a whole other thing that things that have to happen and be in place. So I thank you for taking that challenge, because I can't wait to see what you have in store for us. And leading toward your first lead in a vertical, it seemed to come about in an interesting way, and had to do with another TV show that you were on. What was it?
What would you do?
What would you do with Quinones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, John Quinones is a great man. I have a pretty good rapport with the showrunner and team on that show. It's a really close-knit family, and it's an important show, especially in today's age where people are so overstimulated and glued to their phones. Having public experiments to see if people intervene and stand up for people. Yes. You really see the best in humanity. Some of the situations are uncomfortable, like there was one where I had to be a jerk to a former classmate that was working at a diner and putting him down because he's working at a diner and not working at a more credible job according to, the skit, which sadly is something that happens. It was really refreshing and also kind of scary when people stood up and said, hey, like, don't talk to him like that, and like, actually it's nice to see that people have each other's back more than we realize. And given that opportunity, it sucks that that's what it has to come to sometimes, to see that the best in people. But I do really feel that show is really important to pop culture in this era. And having worked on 11 episodes of it has been a real treat. And it also gave me this confidence, because in those situations, you are literally dealing with real people. You're not dealing with actors. So what you say, you don't know how someone's going to react. You say something a little wrong way, they might come at you. And actually, there's been a few times where they've called the cops on us in that, where the people don't like when people are messing around with people. And so you really do see a lot. And sometimes you see some things that blow your mind. But yeah, it's funny.
Well, I'm going to go to Michael, because I know we've had some activity in the chat room.
Yeah, we've had a little activity, so I am going to go ahead and throw up one comment right now. Justin Fields says, you and Allie Hamilton have a killer relationship or chemistry on screen. I am rooting for your character to end up with hers. Are you friends off set?
Yes, Allie is awesome. I've actually had the pleasure of working with Allie on Love in the Fast Lane, which was a really good project too. She's one of the hardest working actresses in the space. She's always on set. She's so easy to work with, and she brings it. She shows up. She knows her work. She's a really great scene partner. I'm really proud of her. And she actually, I felt bad for her character in that, because in a way it's like she really loved my character. Clearly was emotionally unavailable and broken and kind of major manipulator. So trying to find redeemable qualities, because I think the best story is always like every character has some redeemable aspects that you want to. So I tried to weave that into Jeffrey, into the performance. This is tough because he is a bit whiny, but that's just his emotional, is this like privileged sense of self, where everything should come to him whenever he sees fit. But the reality is that's usually a major turnoff. And I'm kind of surprised, like, at the end where like I have to push her character, that was, the straw that broke the camel's back. In many ways. But yeah, Allie's wonderful. Thank you, Justin.
Now I have a question for you. From all the verticals you've done, do you have a favorite type of character that you like to play?
Ooh,
or do you like variety?
I love variety. I definitely don't want to be typecast too much. I do like complex figures. I think I would love to do like an American Psycho type role, or something a little more layered, emotionally layered. But I have to say, I have a great time doing the CEO. It's hard to complain when, in my latest one that's coming out soon on Flareflow, I get out of a helicopter into a Lamborghini Aventador. It's kind of hard to complain when that's on the call sheet, and that one, I'm actually a very green flag role, where I'm a protector. It's not a traditional love story at all, which is interesting. And I'm curious to see how the new scripts that kind of come into play as this space is really rapidly evolving.
Yes, it really is evolving. Is there a genre that you would like to do on verticals that they haven't done yet?
Ooh, I love murder mystery and thrillers. I think thrillers would play really well in this space. The data has yet to prove that, but I think like when you think of what's Knives Out, like the Daniel Craig film, and murder mysteries, like there's just so much nuance and cliffhangers where you're always on edge, and they don't have to necessarily be scary. They can be fun and exciting. I also think comedy is big. I'd love to do a couple of comedies. We're actually currently writing 3 vertical scripts as we speak for different companies. They're kind of coming of age rom-com, forbidden love, those into
the normal.
The normal, yeah, they really do have a very tight data structure, and you have to, as a writer, you have to be aware of the respective platform that you're going toward.
Yes, I have noticed that.
Yeah. So sadly, like a lot of people stress and complain that they're boxed in certain things, but you have to just understand what the companies are making their living off of in terms of the data that proves.
They know what works for them.
For them, yeah. And everybody, like when you look at Hollywood right now, that's a result of trying to make it work all these years and now having to adapt. And I love these on Instagram. There's all these new platforms and pages talking about the future of the industry. I love producer Patrick, by the way. He's a great source and studio show. Those are great news outlets to kind of find out what's going on, and they're sort of at the cusp and frontier of the vertical and film business, talking about how commercials are kind of dead now and how everybody's getting into film in a way. So I think we're really at an exciting time for anyone who has the heart and passion to pursue space.
Yeah. Do you see yourself being more of a writer in the future or an actor, or are you trying just to do both, or maybe add a third thing?
I would have maybe like a couple months ago. I definitely want to be a showrunner. I want to produce and write and create worlds. I love that, and I love my favorite thing about that is the amount of people you get to work with. Because usually as an actor, you come to set, you do your work, you get to meet everybody. It's like an immediate adopted family, and then you farewell, and then you're on hustling to get to the next job. With writing and producing, you cultivate relationships, and when you look at half the production teams, they're the same people over and over again, and
they work together.
Work together, and they build something bigger than themselves. And I really enjoy that. But I always will act. I think I'm getting more and more into acting now. I want to take the craft even more serious. And I know I still have a lot to go. Like I definitely, want to be better, and I want to push myself. And I think every set that I come on, furthermore, I'm feeling more confident and prepared. And I know what I want to avoid doing, looking at previous performances and just, even in little nuances on how I prepare for a scene. And it's also making me think about writing. It's like, okay, well, sometimes you don't need to over-explain things because it's too much, just getting to the point and doing it finessed and subtly there's real power in that.
That's true. Liz.
Actually, yeah, there's a couple things that, since we are talking a lot about verticals and things, there's a couple things I really wanted to ask. What did you expect going into your first vertical, coming from, Broadway and all of that to this now?
Oh, well, the first experience was I really had no idea what it was. I think it was advertised as a mobile-sode, and I was like, okay, maybe this is like a TikTok thing. And I am very ignorant and green to TikTok. I'm only just learning how to use it. Frankly, I'm not even that great at Instagram and all that stuff. But I've been getting a crash course because it is sort of the future LinkedIn in many ways. I mean, that's partly probably how we all met, I would say. So my first exposure to it was through a backstage advertisement on Instagram for a feature film.
Oh.
And I didn't, at the time, I was just letting my agent submit me to whatever. I wasn't really making much of an effort because I was so focused on writing. So whenever I'd get an audition, and I actually had some great auditions. I auditioned for Outer Banks. I got a couple callbacks to that for John B, which was pretty cool. Still have all the sides and stuff for that audition. It was cool. And I think at that time, looking back, if I only had known what I know now, I may have attacked that audition a little better. So I do think Jay Stokes is the right man for the job. Good on him. So I stumbled across Backstage and decided to make my own profile, and I stumbled across it, and I saw that, in a time where nobody really was getting any opportunities or making any money, the verticals offered like a livable wage that, especially, living in California, is not cheap, as many of you know. I decided to swing the bat at it. And I think because I had done the What Would You Do experience, which is on Hulu, that kind of had some sort of cachet, because many times a client has to really swing the bat at you because they believe in you. And I remember that one of the producers was convincing the client to give me a shot. That was after the divorce. I owned $3 billion. Which has become a pretty fun and popular show. I made some great friends. Ford, Emily Gately, who's a powerhouse. She works so hard and such a great actress. I'm really grateful for that experience.
I think that was the first one that I saw you in as well. And if I remember correctly, you were Bachelor number 1, correct?
Yes.
Number 1? Yeah.
I was, Aaron Mount.
Yep.
And, and that was a fun one. I think, like, looking at that, he was very sort of just neutral. He had a very almost Edward Cullen-esque vibe to him. At least that was my original interpretation of him, where he was the mysterious one who was on a mission. But that was fun because I had got to work with the other actors, and the load was pretty balanced compared to some of the other leading roles. That was more of an ensemble. So I think that also helped in terms of being a good entree into being a leading man, because I got to see how the others played, and we immediately developed a sense. And as you do one, you really do start to get more comfortable. And like now I love going on set and meeting everybody and it's been fun. And sadly, I've had to turn down a couple of offers this upcoming month because I'm traveling. So it's been busy. But yeah, I got one more coming out pretty soon. Honestly, it could be this week. They kind of surprise you with the releases.
Yeah, I know. Some of them are done and in the can, and people keep going, when is it coming out? Even the actors are going, is it ever going to come out? Did it get shelved? And all of a sudden it'll pop out. And it's like, where did that come from? We didn't know anything about it. But
Yeah.
A couple things that really surprised me doing a little deep research with you. You actually, in a way, kind of have a family connection very loosely into Love in the Fast Lane with your grandfather.
You know, that's real. You're the first person to even say that.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, that is really funny. Yes. Yeah. So my grandfather raced in the Isle of Man TT, and to this day, they're very big in motorsports. We love motorsports.
Yeah.
And my family owns, my uncle Simon runs Cotter motorcycles in Ireland, and they sponsor riders. They just sponsored Kevin.
I wondered if there was a family connection with that. I'm very big myself into a lot of racing and different things. So
let me see here. Yeah, I have. I have. I'll have to send you guys some of these. But yeah, we have a handful. But it's. And my uncle Simon is a great rider. All of my dad has two brothers, Simon and Stephen, and they all raced, and they all are very passionate about motorcycles. I wanted to, prior to being an actor and writer, I wanted to go into the Red Bull Rookies AMA and go into MotoGP, but my mom didn't really approve of that one. So being a mama's boy, I had to defer to my higher power. But you know what? It's okay. I haven't broken any bones. So I guess that's a good thing, right?
Yeah. Well, if you look in my garage, and I know it's not racing type material, but my garage is full of Harleys at the moment because we're a very big Harley family as well. So we ride pretty frequently ourselves. You know, nothing like that. That's more my thing. It's like I need the need for
cruising. Yeah, Harleys. You appreciate nature on that. I wouldn't want a sport bike on our long trip. Your back would be very upset with
killing you. Oh, I know. We've actually had the seats redone a couple times just for some of the longer trips because my nephew wants to do a coast-to-coast trip out. He's going to do Run for the Wall, which is a military thing at Arlington, which used to be Rolling Thunder years ago. And now it's broken down in that, and he wants to head for that this May. So
if you haven't seen Long Way Up or Long Way Around with Ewan McGregor, it's a great show. It's so incredible. And they always do these, him and his best friend take these incredible road trips. And they showcase some of the best bikes. And Harley's got a big, I think they're featured in 2 of the seasons, which is great. So yeah, if you haven't seen it already, highly recommend.
Definitely have to check that out. And the other thing, vertical-wise, and I mentioned this early on when we had first introduced you, you did, and I still can't get over this name, After His Affair, I Slept with His Best Friend. I heard rumors, and I cannot believe this is actually accurate. I heard rumors floating around that this was one of the fastest turnarounds from the end of production and everything to flip to being available to watch. It was done in like 4 or 5 days. That cannot be accurate.
It is 100% true. And I actually just recently found out from someone on the inside at Flareflow said that they didn't actually believe it was going to do that well.
Wow.
And, they were just putting it out fast. And the production team on that is fantastic. Vincent Wang and Ver at Bad Kids TV. What's great about these verticals is you'll be on set sometimes and they have the DIT doing all of the transfers live, and then they have the editor in the same room in one of the extra bedrooms in the mansions, and they're literally piecing the whole show together as we're shooting it. So they'll shoot, dump the data, put it into this timeline that they've already mapped out, and they'll have a rough cut pretty fast. Now with that, I think we were done September 14th or 15th, and it was out the 19th or 20th, literally. And we didn't know until the end of the day. We're like, so when is, because oftentimes actors will say, oh, well, when do you think this will be out? And Vincent was like, next Monday. We're like, what? Huh? Because I had did one with Reverse Clock, and that one was of my detective boss. Your whole wife is boss is a whole detective, as opposed to a half a detective.
Different quarters.
She may be a little short, but she's not that short. No, I love Sophia. But yeah, that one took months. I thought they had scrapped it, but I guess what it was is they had sold it to ReelShort. So some of the negotiations take time to actually to do that. So that was a fun one.
Yeah. Well, like I said, when I'd first heard about that and that incredible turnaround time, I'm like, that, no, you not got to be accurate on that. But hearing it now actually from you still it boggles my mind that turnaround can be that fast.
Because even Casey Esser, who's done like 50 of these, and he actually
I know Casey has, yeah.
He even was saying that was the fastest. So I think it was a record. Maybe, I don't know. I'd like to actually poll for that to see what other verticals have come out that fast, because that certainly was an unprecedented release.
Yeah. Well, like I said, that's what I was hearing, is it was one of the fastest. So
yeah. So
definitely be something to check into.
Yeah.
One last question. I'm going to turn you over to Marcia. If you had one item that you could have snuck home from set, what would have been your one item?
From that production in particular?
Any production.
Ooh. Oh, the suits. The suits on After's Affair. Mali Sandoval, she was our Peruvian wardrobe. All of the suits in After's Affair fit perfectly. They were all like Calvin Klein, really nice. I loved that green suit, that maroon suit. I really was like praying, but they were expensive suits, so they weren't going to give those up easily, sadly. That or the glasses from Love in the Fast Lane, thanks to Victoria.
That would have been good, yeah.
Spiky glasses come in handy for Halloween. But you can't. They weren't really too functional. In that scene where I'm racing, you barely see. I was like looking at a windshield covered in rain that your wipers aren't working. You're like, what? So luckily, I was not actually driving the Cybertruck at that time.
There was one vertical that you had a pair of absolutely killer cowboy boots that I was like looking at going, God, those are awesome. I would kill for those.
I was also loving the Fast Lane.
The Fast Lane, yeah.
I had begged for those too, but those were borrowed from another wardrobe. So they really sourced some of the items meticulously. And those cowboy boots probably would have been worth like $1,500, $2,000 because they were crocodile or alligator. Yeah. So they were nice, and they were custom embroidered, like it just, and you could spin it. You could tell they were worn, and whoever's foot was like the same foot that I have. So it just fit like a glove, and it was it was so, I missed those.
Yeah, it's a pain when you have to break in, new cowboy boots or something for the longest time until it fits you right. And to get a pair that actually does fit you perfectly. Yeah, that'd have been killer.
One of my equestrian friends had recently told me that like you got to wear them out and get them wet, but wear them for the whole day so that it holds to your feet. It, like really get them dirty, get them wet, and then so I've yet to fully do that, but one of my best friends is full-time equestrian, Dom Simboli, shout out, and his wife actually, Olivia Bartoli, she's a KTLA unscripted news anchor, and they ride horses in Burbank and occasionally go with them and spend plenty of time at the stables. They have 2 beautiful horses, so it's
I was raised on a horse ranch, so I get it completely. So, if I don't get a chance to say this before, thank you so much for taking your time and coming on. And this has been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. And we could probably go on for another couple of hours, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to toss you over to Marcia.
Yes, for that I'm grateful. No. Yes, it's continuing to be fun. We talked about the social media kind of challenges of getting on Instagram and stuff. I am challenged with that too. Michael keeps telling me, go to Instagram. It's on Instagram. I'm like, do I have to go there? But one thing about that is you do discover some interesting things about people. And I saw one picture of yours that you posted with Debbie Allen, who
Yes.
is an absolute icon of dance actor. So, what was that occasion for?
So we had actually been developing a script that she had been helping us with for a while, which is a sort of a Parisian thriller. It's since evolved, also kind of tricky because we wanted to shoot it in France, and there's some red tape on doing that. But through that process, it was unbelievable because I got to see exactly, this was circa the Grey's Anatomy season 17. So I got to really get sort of firsthand insight on how she works and how she breaks down scripts. And honestly, that woman is a powerhouse. She deserves an accolade. And what she's done for the community with the Debbie Allen Dance Academy,
Yes,
her and Norm. Like, one thing I love about that place is every time I go there and visit her, I feel inspired because it's every age, every demographic is there. There's artists, there's drum circles, painters, dancers, ballerinas. It's just like, and then there's a school upstairs. And what I really love is when you walk upstairs to get to the school, Norm's office is right next to the school. So he's kind of like the elder statesman who's greeting all the kids and they're all high-fiving him. Like, I just am thinking to myself, man, I wish I went to school here, like to getting that exposure to such incredible talent and being in a place that's not only safe, but pushes you to be creative and their outlook. And I honestly think, stay tuned, because I do think they're really trying to double down on the school. And that has single-handedly revolutionized that entire community. And you can see it in every person that walks in and out of that place. So I have the utmost respect and gratitude to Miss Allen and Norm and Vivian, that whole family. I got to meet Vivian Ayers as well, Hawk Ayers. Unbelievable. We went, I think that actually was, that photo you're talking about was for, I think, just a tribute for a gala for the Dance Academy. But
yes,
she is still a dear mentor and someone I look up to.
So do you dance?
Well, behind closed doors. No, actually, I went salsa dancing a couple weeks ago. I don't dance formally, but at a wedding, glass of wine,
You're there.
I'll have a good time.
Immediately I think of Seinfeld with Elaine. You probably, I don't know if you watched Seinfeld show, but yes, Elaine does special dancing.
Exactly. Honestly, I think I went to her school of special dancing.
And also, we haven't really talked about your musical life. I was listening to Ladybug.
Yeah, that was
You
fun
and Riley.
Yep, that was a song written for my little brother.
Yes, Evan.
With special needs, and we have an in-house hospital, basically at where I grew up. So growing up, we had around a staff of nurses who are basically extended family members at this point. Shout out Nurse John, Nancy, everybody. We have a really beautiful team of nurses that have helped and have been a part of it, but it's definitely shaped who I am as a person for sure. And I think I see the value of how precious life is. And it's given me a lot of patience, which I think has helped in writing, acting, and just everything. But getting back to the music, I've been writing a lot, actually. And like going full circle to where this conversation started, I was interning at a music production house in New York City. So I've always had a background in and around music. And Joe was his partners with Ali D. Theodore, who's a big music producer who's produced countless people and worked with countless talents. We actually worked with Hayes Warner, who's just got on Ryan Murphy's new Shards show, who's a brilliant talent. I got to work on a couple of her music videos. Fun. We did a crossover with Lauren, who's a big social media star. And all of that was really fun. So going full circle, I'd always been exposed to Ableton, Logic. I knew how to work a DAW. I play guitar.
Yes.
And I just, for me, like my excess writing gets put into my music. So I sort of will start writing guitar. I'm very guitar centric. So I'll write a melody and then I just start writing things. And that sort of has led to starting to write sync music with a composer, Jonathan, who I mentioned earlier, who was the conduit to Big Men. So needless to say, this is just how things, I think I'm living proof of how relationships evolve and how when you feed them and you take care of them and you respect them, they bring forth opportunities. And I'm extremely grateful to Jonathan, Joe, Debbie, Norm, Scott, Peter Sussman, Jack Sussman. There's so many people. I could go on a list, but I have to say, we've been dealing with the same people for all these years. Like in terms of building long-term relationships, I really value that, and I really am enjoying getting to know all of you. So, and what you're doing, and have a handful of my friends who have already been on your show who have spoken very highly of each other.
Oh, thank you. And one last thing for me, I did see also a phrase of yours that was "set the example," and that what really rang true to me. And tell me about the selection of that.
So that was the first. So in 2015, when I made my Instagram, I saw a bio, and I think I thought about it, kicked it around, and I think we were in a writing session. Joe and I were in a writing session. We were talking about it, and I think it was actually something he had said, but like in reflection of our friendship and like how we like wanted to, like we valued each other because we make each other, like we want to be better people. It's like you're only as good as the company you keep, right? And I think for me, setting the example is being the best version of yourself so that you can inspire your immediate friends, the people that you surround yourself. We're not responsible for what happens out of our control, but we can make an impact on the people we know in our daily lives. So that to me has become a mantra where as long as you hold yourself accountable and you're aware and try to push yourself to be better, you're not always going to win. You're not always going to succeed, but as long as you have that, it's intention. And I think a handful of people have talked about that, but I really appreciate you bringing that up because it is something that's maybe one of the constants that I've kept that slogan there since I developed a cyber footprint. So, yeah.
Thank you. And again, echoing Liz, thank you so much for giving of yourself with us today. It's been wonderful.
Thank you all.
Mark, thank you for coming. I'm going to close this little session, and we would love to have you back.
Yes, please.
Just to either chit chat, or if you've got something coming out that you want to talk about more, anything. And on your projects, if you want to bring some other people with you, have a group discussion, we'd love to do that too.
Okay, well, I'll definitely. This will only be the beginning, and keep up the great work. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. So everyone out there, if I couldn't get to one of your questions, I am sorry. If you're watching us later, please like and subscribe, follow whichever format you're looking at, because I don't want you to miss anything. You might not see an announcement on Instagram. Right. Don't want you to miss it. So everyone take care. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.